Welcome back. Like we've been saying, most of the Asian markets are in green, slightly off the highs, but largely the color is still positive, so no problems there. Let's pull up the GIFT Nifty and the implied open. The indication is that we'll also start higher, maybe about 50 odd points on the Nifty. I will just get that up for you in a bit. There are, of course, lots of stocks, individual stocks to track as well. So let's straight away get to it with our CNBC-TV18 list of top stocks to watch. And we have our entire team standing by to run us through the names. Sudarshan is opening up the order with a focus on Ashok, Leyland and SML Isuzu. Everyone's talking about this potential deal, Sudarshan.
Good morning, Surbhi. So first up, why these two companies will be in focus? Because Ashok Leyland yesterday late night has announced, has called the board meeting, and that is scheduled for today. And companies saying that it's called at a very short notice to inform about corporate updates. Also, post the board meeting, company will be holding conference call and the analyst meet at 5:15 p.m. Now, this is what Ashok Leyland has informed. But what we understand from the sources and that Money Control has reported that Ashok Leyland is one of the contenders to acquire SML Isuzu. Last week, we had also reported of M&M was one of the contenders. Now, through Money Control, we are understanding that Ashok Leyland is also in that list to acquire SML Isuzu. And if that acquisition happens, so currently promoter shareholding, if you look at SML Isuzu, majority of the share, one is the major promoter, that is the Sumitomo Group, which holds around 44% stake as of December 2024. And if you talk about Isuzu, it's part of the public shareholders. It's one of the largest public shareholders with holding of 15% stake. And one of the other largest public shareholders is Sachin Bansal, who holds more than 19% stake. So what we know from Money Control that Ashok Leyland might acquire the stake of Sumitomo and Isuzu, and if that is look at the valuation, that is valued at around 1,400 crore.
Okay, all right. We'll wait and watch to see what comes out of that meeting. Thanks a lot, Sir, for that. Well, let's hop across to Vivek. He's here to tell us about NCC. They're raking in the big order wins. Hey, Vivek, good morning.
That's right. Good morning. Close to March end, and the whole host of slew of order wins are being seen across a lot of capital goods as well as infrastructure names. So NCC yesterday announced that it had secured 2 work orders from BSNL. This for design, supply, installation, as well as operational and maintenance services for middle mile network as far as BharatNet is concerned. They have received orders, and these orders are spread across 2 separate states. The first order is from Uttarakhand. The value of the order is 2,640 crore. The other order is from Madhya Pradesh. The value is over 8,450 crore. The order size as well as the order booking will be split into 2 separate components, CAPEX as well as OPEX. CAPEX portion EPC amounts to a little over 5,700 crore, while the OPEX portion is valued at a little over 5,000 crore. The network construction is expected to be completed within 3 years, and this particular contract also allows for 10 years of operational as well as maintenance services. With this, NCC has now achieved the order inflow guidance that it had given at the start of the year of 20 to 22,000 crore. So watch out for NCC today. Expect some green in the stock.
All right. Thanks very much for that. That's a big one for Nagarjuna Construction. Vivek, thank you very much for that. Now, Siemens is the next one we want to focus on. Hormuz is here to tell us why. Hormuz, morning.
Morning, Prashant. And there's a big approval coming in for Siemens, the NCLT approval for the demerger of the company and its energy business as well. Now, the demerger has been effective from last night, and the shareholders of Siemens will get 1 share of the demerged entity, which is Siemens Energy India, for every 1 share that they held as of the record date, which has been fixed as the 7th of April. Siemens Energy India will also be a separate listed entity now on the bourses, and according to the company, that will lead to unlocking of shareholder value as well. And Guilherme Vieira de Mendonca has been appointed as the MD and CEO of the demerged entity, while Harish Shekhar has been appointed as the executive director and the CFO. So finally, the approval coming in for NCLT, a positive development coming in for Siemens.
Okay, all right. That's Siemens. Hormuz, morning. You're also watching out for Federal Bank. What's happening there?
Morning, Surabhi. Some developments from Federal Bank on the M&A front as well. They've increased their stake in the insurance JV, which is Aegis Federal Life, by 4%. Now they currently hold 30% in this JV, where the other 70% is held by Aegis. And the total consideration for this is around 97.5 crore rupees, and they are valuing Aegis Federal Life at around 2,500 crores based on this transaction. And of course, is subject to approval from the RBI and the insurance regulator as well, likely to be completed by the end of October. Another positive development for Federal Bank as well.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Hormuz. So, well, let's hop across to Ritu. She is here to give us an update on the Jaiprakash Associates insolvency case. Ritu?
The deadline to submit expressions of interest for Jaiprakash Associates ended last night, and we've been given to understand that as per the last count, as many as 26 suitors have come forward, and that includes prominent names like Adani Group, JSPL, Vedanta, Wellspun, as well as Oak Tree Capital and Arcil. The COC is now expected to meet to take these on record before the due diligence starts and final bids are invited. Now, keep in mind, JP is facing claims of more than 57,000 crores under IBC, but banks have already transferred their loan exposure to NARCL for about 12,000 crores under the 1585 structure and already received 15%, that is 1,800 crores in cash, while the rest of the recovery is going to remain contingent on the outcome of this IBC process.
All right, Jaiprakash, an asset which has been up in the air in terms of what will happen to it for the last, at least, almost 10 years now. Thanks very much, Ritu, for that. Zaggle is the other one which is in focus. Rima is here. They've completed an acquisition. Rima, tell us more.
Indeed. So Zaggle has completed an acquisition of about 38% stake in mobile wear tech. For a total amount of about 22 crore rupees. But this was announced earlier. We had chatted with the management. They'd spoken about how they're acquiring the first tranche 26% stake for about 15 crore in September of 2024. Now it appears the company has completed it, and this acquisition will help the company strengthen its payment offerings. By the way, Zaggle has been under a lot of pressure. Even yesterday, the stock closed with a cut of close to about 5%. And what we understand is that the 1.5-year lock-in, which freed up 20% of the equity, outstanding equity of the company, ended yesterday. So that's been putting pressure on, Zaggle. And the stock on a year-to-date basis is already down about 33%. And its 52-week high was 591. So the stock is still very far away from those levels. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Rima. Well, let's hop across to Manglam. He's here to tell us about Stylem, some protection coming in for them. Manglam, morning.
Well, it's the season of duties, anti-dumping duties and tariffs, etc. because now there has been an anti-dumping duty imposed by the government on acrylic solid surface imports from China for the next 5 years. Remember, Stylem Industries was the one that had filed for this anti-dumping duty on acrylic solid surfaces. And of all the acrylic solid surfaces supplied in India, 70 to 80% comes in from Stylem Industries itself. So this imposition of anti-dumping duty, especially for the next 5 years from China, should be a positive for them. See some green on Stylem today.
Got it. So we've added that to our list as well. Manglam, thank you for that. Back to Sudarshan then to round up a bunch of other stocks that are also in the news today. Sud?
So I have two stocks. First one is SIS. Board has approved share buyback of ₹150 crore at a price of 404 per share, which is at a premium of 18% if you take yesterday's closing price, and the buyback would be done via tender route. Second up is Exide Industries. Government has made certain amendments to the rules, and because of that, lithium-ion battery will be now part of core auto components. That can be positive for battery players like Exide Industries and Amar Raja.
Okay, all right, got that. Sudarshan, thanks very much for that. Let's quickly recap our list of stocks to watch. The ones that have positive news flow around them include Ashok Leyland, SML Isuzu, NCC Siemens, Federal Bank, the lenders of JP Associates, Zaggle, Prepaid, Stylem, SIS and Exide Industries. There are actually no stocks that have negative news flow around them, so it's an all-green list once again. With that, let's now head across to the commodity world. We have Manisha joining in with a roundup of all the action. Manisha, good morning. It's not gold, it's copper that's hitting bigger headlines overnight, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. Even as gold is at sightlines, copper clearly taking a lead in the metal as a sector. So we've seen all-time highs in the U.S. markets, not the LME, which the markets really follow. But the COMEX copper is at an all-time high, above $5.22 a pound. Prices have gained almost 3% overnight. Well, there's been this news that U.S. President may impose tariffs on copper imports as well. So buyers in U.S. are stockpiling ahead of these potential tariffs, and that has led to a very huge premium in the U.S. markets vis-a-vis the rest of the world. So copper prices in U.S. are expensive by 13 to 15% right now versus the rest of the world. Also, there was another news suggesting that Glencore is temporarily halted copper shipments from Chile due to some furnace issues. So this new supply disruption news also added to the markets, and we've seen prices run up. But it's not just about copper. Silver gained 2.5% overnight. Gold was up 1%. Brent crude is trading at a 3-week high, and that has led to gains in rubber, which is trading at a 2-week high as well. So, well, it's a very strong start to Asian markets when it comes to commodities, but definitely copper taking all the lead.
All right, Manisha, thank you very much for that. So that's commodities and copper more specifically very much front and center there. We'll take a quick commercial break here. Gurmeet Chadda, managing partner and CIO at Complete Circle will be with us for some fundamental stock conversation. Stay tuned.